A guy manages his YouTube channel in the aftermath of a nuclear apocalypse.
Don't pick one with an unexploded missile in the front yard. That's a deal breaker.
Not long ago, 17-year-old Josh Wheeler was just a regular high school student in Glendale, California. His life seemed boring, but everything changed in an instant. The world went through a nuclear apocalypse, wiping out most of humanity and turning some into bloodthirsty monsters. Amidst all this chaos, Josh not only survived but became a vlogger, constantly talking to the camera. To him, the apocalypse was the best thing that ever happened. He'd become a cool guy, able to adapt to the new world. Instead of hiding in a shelter or looking for allies, Josh became a lone wolf, enjoying the post-apocalyptic world. Following the advice of his teachers, he accepted the new reality and got everything he'd never dreamed of. Now, Josh lives in the mansion of a millionaire who didn't survive the nuclear blast, and he has literally everything he could want. Sure, he's scared of the zombies roaming the city, as they could attack and turn him into their next meal, but these are just minor problems on the path to endless opportunities. Josh cruises around in an expensive sports car and feels like he's in a video game, like GTA. During one of his walks, the teen leaves signs marking his location. At a store, he finds a samurai sword and decides to keep the weapon, naming it Sam. But when he returns home that evening, Josh is disappointed to find a huge mutated pug has broken into his garage. The nuclear apocalypse didn't just wipe out humanity, it also mutated animals, turning even the most harmless creatures into deadly threats. Not wanting to deal with the giant, aggressive pug that busted through the metal gates, Josh decides to look for another, equally luxurious place to live. While choosing a new home, he tries to avoid options where hundreds of zombies are nearby or where an unexploded shell lies around, since that could end badly. The only person Josh truly fears is Baron Triumph, a mysterious biker in black who kidnaps surviving teenagers and takes them to a shopping mall that serves as his base. The bombed-out neighborhoods, zombies, and psychopaths kidnapping kids aren't the only threats for people like Josh. As a loner, he tries to avoid areas controlled by survivor gangs. Some of these gangs are peaceful, while others are insane, led by aggressive leaders. The most notable are former athletes, the Kardashian family, and other smaller groups that have divided the city among themselves. Soon, Josh finds a church and thinks it's a great option for a new hideout. Noticing nearby vehicles belonging to one of the gangs, he realizes he needs to get out of there and stay away from them. As he prepares to leave, he hears a scream and suspects it's Sam Dean, the girl he's madly in love with. Eager to save the beauty, Josh rushes into the church and encounters 5 golfers who have formed a gang. They've locked the girl in a cage and are tormenting her, plotting something horrible. When they see Josh, the golfers react aggressively, but Josh is armed and ready to fight. The golf gang's leader proposes a deal. He'll let Josh go if he tells an interesting story. Josh says he came to their school from Canada, but that's too boring. The golfers are ready to attack him, but Josh continues his story and tells them about his relationship with Sam Dean, the most beautiful and popular girl at school. She immediately noticed him and reciprocated his feelings, but the golfers don't believe him. They want to turn Josh into a submissive slave, hoping to do so with their numbers advantage. At one point, the golf leader gives Josh the finger, but he does it too soon. Josh attacks him with the sword and injures Terrence's hand. The others charge at him, but Josh knows how to defend himself and easily takes care of the cowardly golfers. They agree to release the girl, but it turns out that it's not Sam, but a 10-year-old girl named Angelica Green, who has a mild case of pyromania. She's ready to throw a Molotov cocktail at the bullies and burn everyone alive. Josh has babysat Angelica before and knows how dangerous she is, so he agrees to leave her with the golfers. While Terrence and his friends try to figure out how serious the wound is, Josh and Angelica escape. In the street, they encounter a mysterious samurai, who turns out to be Wesley Fists, a former athlete who became a pacifist after the apocalypse and wants to redeem his past sins. Wesley knows about Josh's search for his missing girlfriend and promises to help if they team up. At the same time, the golfers realize their lives aren't in danger and declare a manhunt for Josh. They use signal flares to attract the attention of Turbo Bro, the leader of the athlete gang. Turbo Bro is a ruthless, cold-blooded teenager who can execute someone for the slightest mistake. He makes this clear by sending a bad singer into a cage with zombies. After the singer manages to escape, the gang leader shows no mercy, using a grenade launcher to destroy the teenager. Josh, Angelica, and Wesley flee and hide in one of the apartments of a solitary teenager. Here, Josh manages to talk about his romantic relationship with Sam and his determination to find her, no matter what it takes. Soon, their location is discovered by the athlete gang, who decided to help the golfers punish their tormentor. There are too many of them, but Angelica reminds them that the crowd outside is just kids. Realizing that they can be easily scared, the trio uses blood-filled balloons and water pistols. Even such harmless weapons instill fear and panic among the athletes. They attempt to gather their strength for a siege on Josh's hideout when suddenly they are attacked by zombies. Terrence becomes the first victim of the hungry monsters, after which the others try to escape. Josh, Angelica, and Wesley realize they need to split up to make it harder for them to be caught. The young pyromaniac and the former athlete head to the shopping mall and Baron Triumph's hideout since Sam was last seen there. Meanwhile, Josh tries to buy time and attract the attention of the athletes. After successfully executing the first part of the plan, Josh hides and recalls the events just before the apocalypse. Just moments before the nuclear strike, he was waiting for the girl near the stadium, but after the explosion, communication was lost, and they never saw each other again. Currently, the athletes find Josh, but he manages to escape again, this time using his skateboard. Angelica and Wesley arrive at the mall and try to break the lock. Here, a zombie appears, approaching them and ready to feast on human flesh. The young pyromaniac tries to defend them, but the fuel in the flamethrower runs out quickly. Wesley, a pacifist, can't hurt the zombie even for self-defense, but they are saved when Josh attacks the monster from behind. The trio joins forces to break the lock and get inside when suddenly Baron Triumph approaches them. The teenagers freeze in terror, knowing that this man kidnaps children, and they have no idea who is hiding behind the terrifying mask. A few moments later, Baron Triumph removes his mask, revealing that under it is Eli Kardashian, a pathetic, cowardly schoolboy obsessed with comics and cartoons. Noticing Eli's bike, Wesley realizes that this is an imposter, parodying a dangerous criminal. Eli has a completely different motorcycle, and most of his gear is a cheap imitation of the kidnapper's outfit. Moments later, the real Baron Triumph appears, and the four teenagers are forced to hide inside the shopping mall. Eli's hideout turns out to be the perfect place, as it's stocked with food, clothes, and has electricity generated by solar panels on the mall's roof. The teens are happy to be there, but Eli refuses to share the resources. Fearing Baron Triumph, he still trusts no one, so he locks Angelica and Josh in one of the stores. Wesley avoids the trap, but instead of taking the key by force, he decides to negotiate with Eli and reach a peaceful agreement. Angelica and Josh aren't thrilled with his pacifism, especially since they're locked in a store with a witch who could turn them into her dinner. Meanwhile, Turbo and his loyal friend Mona are torturing the golfers. The athlete throws a soccer ball at the prisoners, demanding to know how they managed to let Josh slip away. The clan leader will do whatever it takes to catch and punish the runaway, but he needs to know where to find him. Trying to save their lives, the four golfers compliment Turbo and offer to make him the leader of not just the athlete clan but the whole city. Soon, leaders from other clans arrive with generous gifts to win Turbo over. The punk geeks decide not to comply and stage a coup. Armed with makeshift weapons, they kill Turbo, but it turns out to be one of the golfers. Turbo had expected an attempt at a coup and was ready for it, so the punk's plan fails, and now they're sentenced to execution. Locked up, Josh remembers the good time spent with the girl. Sam is an amazing and incredibly friendly girl who can connect with both kids and adults. One day, while walking through the mall, she suggested they shoot a video together. She complimented the shoppers and easily made friends with everyone, except Mona, who thought Sam's compliment was insincere and mocking. The only thing that disappoints Josh is that he was too much of a coward to express his feelings. Their romantic walk was ruined when the athletes decided to beat Josh up for refusing to obey them. Instead of taking the punch like a man, Josh ran off and hid in the bathroom, then in the women's clothing section. Now, Josh realizes the witch might be Sam, so he decides to confront her. He sets out to face the monster but fails and ends up trapped. Angelica saves him and injures her hand to lure the zombies with the smell of blood. In the next store, she sets up a doll as bait, which helps trap the witch. For a while, Josh thought it was Sam, but soon he recognizes the witch as his biology teacher, Miss Crumble. To his surprise, she isn't like the other zombies. She can talk and form coherent thoughts. This gives Angelica hope that not all adults have turned into monsters, and maybe her parents are still alive and well. Looking at Miss Crumble, Josh recalls that on that fateful day, she was in the mall. The teacher showed kindness and shared food so he could continue hiding from the athletes. Now, the witch is willing to help him and promises to get him out of the locked store. She has the keys, but she accidentally swallowed them due to her constant hunger. With her mouth wide open, she can't retrieve the keys and asks Josh to do it. He's scared but agrees to the risky task, determined to find and save Sam. At the same time, Baron Triumph continues looking for a way into the shopping mall. He navigates through a minefield of tripwires and grenades, but the front entrance is booby-trapped. The back entrance is under high voltage, but the malicious criminal won't give up. He sees that the teenagers are hiding inside and is willing to do anything to capture them. Fearing Baron Triumph, Eli and Wesley continue to clash. Eli doesn't believe the former athlete has truly become a pacifist, so he punches him in the face and lures him into several traps. Soon, Eli and Wesley notice that Baron Triumph has found an entrance through the sewer floor and elevator. Eli is too scared to fight the criminal, and Wesley is a pacifist, so they need help. Trying to escape the mall, Josh opens a door but is immediately attacked by another zombie. Angelica runs off to find weapons, leaving Josh to face the monster alone. Believing these are his last moments, Josh remembers his kiss with Sam and realizes he shouldn't have been so indecisive. In the present, Eli and Wesley come to his rescue so Josh can fight the criminal with them. The four teens face Baron Triumph and try to fight him, but his armor is too strong. It seems like the end, but the witch steps in to protect them and drives the criminal away. Still not trusting the traitor Eli, the teens isolate him in a locked store. Josh decides to have a conversation with himself and realizes he can't be a coward anymore. Seeing a bite on his arm, he decides to amputate the limb to avoid turning into a monster. He misses the mark slightly and cuts off a finger, but Angelica tells him it's not necessary since the infected resemble vampires more than zombies and won't become one of them from a bite. The witch decides to have lunch with Josh's finger so it doesn't go to waste. She makes a sandwich when suddenly a mutated crow steals the finger, leaving the witch without any meat. Wesley and Angelica realize that Josh needs medicine and antibiotics since he's starting to get an infection. They ask their friend not to leave the mall and try to negotiate with Eli, as the only pharmacy is in the block where he's locked up. Eli refuses to help and blackmails Wesley, threatening to reveal a terrible truth about him that could ruin their friendship. Josh is ready to go look for Sam again, but due to blood loss and a high fever, he passes out. Little Angelica decides to take advantage of the situation and try her hand at being a blogger instead of Josh. As she talks about her life, Angelica reflects on her tough childhood, as she had been locked in her wealthy parents' house her whole life. They wanted to make her a real scientist and spent most of their money on her education. While locked up, Angelica longed to find friends, so she figured out a way to escape. To do so, she starting fires and soon found herself in therapy. By manipulating the therapist, she managed to get medication that allowed her to make illegal substances. Eventually, Angelica made a video about selling illegal substances and for the first time went to school. From the first days, she started making friends, as everyone wanted to try the slime mixed with pills. The principal noticed Angelica and tried to stop her, but the girl treated him to jelly with a laxative, quickly getting rid of him. Knowing Eli won't give the medicine, Angelica and Wesley head to a pharmacy on the outskirts of town. The other pharmacies are in dangerous areas controlled by gangs, so they have a long and dangerous journey ahead. They leave Josh under the witch's watch, naively trusting her. It seems that the witch is willing to protect the injured teenager, but at some point, hunger takes over. She attacks Josh and ties him up to enjoy a nice meal. Her conscience starts to bother her, and she tries to find an alternative. After talking to the dolls, she decides to use maggots. They feed on infected tissue and are filled with the taste of Josh, allowing the witch to not only save the teenager but also have a hearty meal with the flavor of the boy. Wesley and Angelica find the pharmacy and steal the medicine. The pyromaniac girl easily blows up a locked cabinet to take everything inside. The pair prepares to leave the pharmacy but suddenly realizes they're surrounded by dozens of hungry zombies. Moments later, someone kills them, but Angelica understands that these people aren't friendly. Angelica and Wesley try to escape through a back exit, but there's a zombie waiting for them. It's hit by an SUV, and the girls inside turn out to be from the Black Amazon clan. Their leader, Maddie, has known Angelica for a long time and hates the girl because Angelica once broke her face with a food tray. Despite the old grudge, Maddie offers Angelica friendship and a chance to join their clan. The girl has always wanted real friends but refuses, realizing that the only one who truly cares about her is Josh. On the way to the mall, Angelica admits that she envies Sam's popularity and tried to copy her in every way, but it didn't work out. Meanwhile, Turbo is watching videos on social media and realizes he'll do anything to capture and kill Josh. Once, he lost a football match because of a player named Josh, which led to a deep hatred of anyone with that name. He's obsessed with revenge and loses control over his emotions due to heavy psychological trauma and the loss of his father. In the evening, Mona Lisa puts on a theatrical performance for Turbo. The nerd who tried to kill him has to play the role of the athlete's father. Instead of following the script, the nerd admires Turbo and supports him. It seems he's hitting a nerve, but by doing so, the nerd makes a mistake. After crying and getting even angrier at him, Turbo orders the execution of the failed actor. That night, Wesley and Angelica return to the mall. They manage to treat Josh, but they have terrible news for him. Heading to the parking lot, the friends inform him that they found a girl's body and ask him to identify her. Inside the trunk, Josh finds a girl with a badge that belonged to Sam. Realizing it's her, the boy can't hold back tears, knowing he's lost his beloved girl and will never be with her again. Wesley suffers from guilt, but Angelica orders him to stay silent. In reality, this is Angelica's plan to keep Josh from searching for Sam any further. On the way home, Wesley and Angelica found a random dead girl and decided to pass her off as Sam. To do this, Angelica mutilated the corpse's face, leaving a badge she made with a 3D printer to make it look like Sam. She knows it's a terrible thing to do, but the 10-year-old girl is willing to do anything to make sure Josh doesn't risk his life and stays in the mall with his friends. In the series, the teenagers form their own factions with distinct rules and styles. How closely does their behavior mirror real-life teenage perspectives, and how has the catastrophe amplified their need for self-identification and group divisions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, give us a like, and make sure to subscribe for more. See you in the next video.